There are a daunting number of choices for aquarium filter media in pet shops. So I am creating a 3-part series to discuss with you the different kinds and the different implications for these filter medias to make the choice easier for you. The first type of filter media I've decided to cover is the biofiltration media, because this is the lifeblood of your filter. This is your bread and butter. The biofiltration provides additional surface area for beneficial bacteria to grow. This is the bacteria that you are growing when you are doing an aquarium cycle. It is the bacteria which turns ammonia into nitrate, which is a fertilizer for live plants. Or when you do your water change, you're removing those nitrates. The nitrates are way less harmful to your aquarium life than the ammonia. So the biofiltration media is extremely important. 1/3 of your total filter media space at minimum ideally should be a biofiltration media. And there's just a few options compared to, you'll see in a lot of the other videos, a lot less options here. But it's still good to understand those options so you can decide which ones you may like. So the first thing I have here, these are the pretty standard common ceramic bio rings, they're called. You can see they're not necessarily a ring shape. They come in all kinds of different sizes, different shapes. Tons of brands make them. You can find them at any pet store very easily. You can find them online in bulk very easily. This is what most people use because they're so readily available and they're fairly cheap for the pound. This is an extra large size here with the hollow center. If you're got a very large sump filter or pond or canister filter, this is the size most people use. These here are not hollow in the center. They almost look like a fish pellet. These little white ones, this is a Fluval brand. And as you can see, they're quite small, especially next to the extra large. So this is a very good size if you would happen to have a nano tank or, you know, one of the smaller tanks with a fairly average size filter. And then I have a couple of these here which are hollow and they kind of look like Cheerios. They're actually a slightly different texture. They're more pitted, they're a lot more rough, they're slightly different material, and I don't remember what brand they are. Again, it's like the nano tank size. You can kind of see that these are pitted. So they kind of got holes, like really tiny holes for the water to flow through. These are as well, though it's more close together. It's not quite as pitted as the small Fluval here. And the bacteria will grow on the outside, it'll grow in the inside, and like I said, the biofilter media is just to create a lot of space. So these are a very good pick. It's what most people use. They're fairly cheap. Then over here, I have, this is crushed lava rock. I have 2 different sizes. This here is my larger sized rocks. These are some smaller sized pieces. You can get them in all kinds of different sizes. This is probably the cheapest per pound. So most people that have a very large sump filter or are filtering a pond, they opt for the lava rock. You can buy it in bulk online very easily, or any pet store which has large bins of rocks for aquascaping. If you dig down towards the bottom of the bin with the lava rock, you will find all of these pieces that have broken off the larger lava rock, and you can just scoop them up, put them in a bag or box, and most pet stores have no problem selling it to you for the same price per pound as the larger rock. So it's very economical. It's good with surface area. They're very pitted. Can't really get a good... The camera doesn't really want to zoom on it well enough. But it's very pitted. Do note that parts of the lava rock can be very sharp, and I have cut myself on them. So be very careful when handling it, because these broken up pieces, they're very easy to get jabbed under a fingernail or get cut on because you have so many different pieces in your hand at one time. It's really hard to notice the spots that are sharp. Also, because they are sharp and they're a lot rougher texture than the bio rings. That means if you put any kind of filter pad or sponge below or on top of this, it tends to actually get caught on the lava rock. And then when you're taking the filter pad or sponge in and out, you can rip it, or parts are getting stuck on the lava rock and gunking them up. So if you're going to use lava rock, I really suggest that it is in its own media tray or in its own compartment of a sump filter, just to avoid that. Then what I have over here, this is something fairly new, or I should say rather new to me. So this kind of looks like plastic pinwheel pasta. And it is. It's plastic. It's a very lightweight plastic. This is K2 media. So this is the K2 size. The K1 is like half, the wheels are like half the size of this, so they're really small for your nano tanks. The K2 size is a little bit cheaper, which is why I got the K2 size. It's a really good size for most standard applications, I would say. And then they do make two sizes, at least one, I think maybe even two sizes even larger than this, if you have a very large sump that you are filling. Now, something that's very important about the K media. This media, you cannot just put it in your standard canister filter. Excuse me. This media needs to be constantly in motion and tumbling. You can buy what is called a K media reactor online, which suction cups to the side. You put your media in and then you just attach a bubbler to it. Or you can make something out of a soda bottle. For these, you can create a lot of people put them in their sump filters, and they just create a compartment just for this with cross flow to keep it tumbling. So there's tons of options you can look up. If you want to do the DIY soda bottle version, there's tons of videos on YouTube. I made mine using the video that's out there by Aquarium Co-op on YouTube. But this stuff is great. What's really nice about this, because it's always tumbling, it is actually shaking loose any of the old, weak, dead bacteria, which makes room for new, more vigorous, beneficial bacteria to grow. So it's kind of self-cleaning in that. Also, it changes color. So it actually has a built-in indicator of when it is actually been colonized by the bacteria and is ready and is bioactive. So there's no more guesswork on when your biofilter is ready and your cycle is complete. So it'll turn from this white, bright white color to a like off-white color. Also, when it is non-colonized, it'll actually float. Once it has been colonized by the bacteria, you'll start getting that nice tumbling motion. Also, since it is always in motion with that movement of cross flow or the flow being created by a bubbler, you're also making sure that this beneficial bacteria is in a high oxygen environment. And the beneficial bacteria, which breaks down ammonia, is a aerobic bacteria, meaning it loves oxygen. And some of you may have heard that if you're having problems with your biofilter, it's been suggested to add a bubble bar or a wave maker, create more surface tension, add more oxygen to the water, because that lowers your ammonia. And that is because the bacteria that breaks down that ammonia really loves a high oxygen rich environment. So this is just so easy. It's really not much more expensive than the bio rings. It's just you can't just throw this into a hang off the back filter or a canister filter. You do need a very specific space for it. That is the only downside of this media, but it's absolutely wonderful, and I think it is a great creation. Now, on to this last biomedia I have here. This is Matrix by Seachem, and you'll see it says high capacity filtration. This is the most expensive filter media I have here, and I mean expensive. The good news with filter media, it's pretty much you buy it and you have it for life. You're not constantly putting additional money into it to replace it or freshen it up like you do filter pads and chemical media. So that's a good thing. What is really unique about this Matrix this Matrix by Seachem, you will see it looks like pebbles, and it looks very similar in texture to our ceramic bio rings over here. However, you will notice it's not hollow, and actually the center of these pieces are so thick and so dense that no oxygen gets to the center. This allows a second type of beneficial bacteria to grow, and that is the anaerobic bacteria, which do not like oxygen. And what's really awesome about anaerobic bacteria is that it removes nitrate by converting it into gas. If you've ever heard of a deep sand bed being used by saltwater fish keepers, it is usually in a sump filter. The deep sand bed is to grow this anaerobic, this bacteria that does not like oxygen, in order to help convert some nitrate out of your aquarium. So the outside of these, by the way, still does grow the regular oxygen-loving bacteria. So this Seachem Matrix biomedia is a 2-in-1 biomedia. So it's really cool. It definitely does not hurt to have that extra bacteria in there. Do note, make sure that your Seachem Matrix bottle says high capacity biofiltration and specifies controls ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate on it, because there was a form, I think it might have been discontinued now, there was a form of it where it did not have the dense core, so it did not culture that anaerobic bacteria very well. So just be mindful of that when you are shopping for it. But I just feel like you can't go wrong spending the extra money on the Seachem Matrix, because you're getting two benefits in one product. But since it is quite pricey, this jar, I want to say, was like $13, $15. And I think it's like 1 liter of media or something like that. I don't remember. So it was like 3 times the price of any of the other media here. So because of the price, especially if you have a large area to fill, you might want to mix it 50-50 with one of the other biomedias. I use a combination of the Seachem Matrix. I have some bio rings in my filter, which are especially nice for when I need to take some bacteria from a established filter with established biofiltration, I can just pick up one of these that are already cultured and all that good bacteria, and I can pop it into a brand new filter that's in on a brand new tank to actually get a cycle started faster, because I'm introducing a well-grown bacterial colony from an existing source. The last thing you'll see that I have these bottles over here. I just wanted to mention that don't forget to add your bio startup. So this is actually a biological additive that is liquid. There's tons of different brands. I've tried most of them. These are just the two I have on hand. So this is the Seachem Stability, and this is the Fluker's Eco Clean. This is the turtle version because I have a turtle tank. It was on sale when I bought it, I won't lie. And what this is this has a bunch of that oxygen-loving, cleaning bacteria in it. And you add this directly into your filter. I'm going to say that again. When you add this to your tank, add the liquid directly to your filter while the filter is turned off. And the reason for that is most of your biofiltration is in your filter. So you want to introduce this bacterial boosting liquid with these bacterial colonies in it directly into the filter, and keep your filter turned off for a few minutes after you add it to give that bacteria time to drip down through all layers of your filter media and actually to like grab on to whatever you have in your tank and kind of get situated before you turn on the filter and kind of flush some of that into the water column. I use this daily when I am cycling a new tank. I use it after every water change, and I use an extra amount of it every time I service the filter. So anytime I'm cleaning or changing any of my filter pads, I use extra of this and again put directly into the filter. There's tons of brands. I really like these two. I personally love this Fluker's, and it was my first time using it. The Fluker's, I feel, has cycled a brand new aquarium the fastest than any other brand I've used. Though, I am going to note that when I was testing this and using it for the first time, I was using it in a tank that contained a canister filter. And I have never used a canister filter before this product. So all the other brands I have tested with hang off the back filters. This, I have not tried to cycle a brand new tank with a hang off the back filter yet. I did just start up a new tank, and I've been using a combination of both of these to get it cycled. The stability is fairly cheap. I love Seachem products. I am not being sponsored by Seachem to tell you that. And it's pretty good bang for the buck. I've tried the Marine Land. I have tried the Fluval. I feel the Fluval is very expensive, especially compared to the Stability, and I don't feel like it performed any better than the Seachem Stability. Again, with a hang off the back filter, same tank, by the way, as that, same size tank. I've tried the Tetra, I've tried almost every brand, used almost every brand on the market. So this is kind of my new go-to, is the Fluker's, but the Seachem Stability, for the price, still a pretty solid product, I think, in my opinion. So that is the different biofiltration media. Now, some bacteria does grow on the gravel or sand and rocks and various decor inside your aquarium. Some of it does grow on your sponges and your filter pads and stuff like that, but the biomedia is where most of it is usually going to be found, just because it creates such a great environment that that bacteria likes, and just creates way more surface area per inch than a filter pad or, you know, sand or gravel in your aquarium. So the biofiltration is very important. And a lot of times when somebody is having problems with their filter not keeping up water quality in their aquarium, a lot of times it is just a matter of the person did not cycle the tank well enough. They aren't using their bio-additives on a regular schedule to help boost the health and quantity of the bacterial colonies in their tank. They're not using enough of the biomedia. There's just not enough surface area for the media. And as I mentioned, oftentimes too, there's just not enough oxygenation in the water for the bacteria. So do note there's a lot of other problems that I'm going to be touching on and talking about as I go over some of the other types of media. So look for the other 2 parts in the series. I will be doing the chemical media, which will be a long video, but it's probably the type of media most people are confused about. And I will also be doing the mechanical filtration media as well. So 2 separate videos on that. Stay tuned for those and check them out when they come out.